there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Mrs. Espinosa and I am a pre-K teacher here in Texas. And in this short video, I want to share my handwriting instructional routine. So I'm going to be sharing the procedures for this routine and the intentionality, the why behind each procedure. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And let me start off by saying that I do not have a handwriting curriculum. We are not given a handwriting curriculum. So over the years that I've taught early childhood, I have just tweaked and fine-tuned my handwriting routine into what it is now. And I really think it's great, which is why I want to share it with you. So let me talk about the two important components before I start going into the actual routine. I knew that I was missing a visual component, so I found these letter formation slides from Miss M's reading resources, and they're so great. They're exactly what I was looking for because you can see the path, the letter stroke one at a time, and you can display them as Google Slides or PowerPoint, and they're only $5. So I will of course link these in the description below. She has a ton of those slides available with different themes, but I decided to go with the crayon theme since I use it all throughout the year. I think if you don't have any handwriting curriculum at all, I think visual letter formation slides are a must, and the importance of students having that visual component, it's going to give them a clear visual model before they even pick up a writing tool. So that's component number one. And then component number two is that I realized that I needed to have consistent and repetitive language whenever we would practice our letter formation strokes. So I came up with my own script, and it's aligned with the letter formation strokes from these slides. And this is a free download in my Teachers Pay Teachers. So again, if you decide to use the slides, this is free if you want a starting point on consistent language to use with your students. And it's important that you establish vocabulary for them, like the types of strokes that they're going to be writing. We have straight lines, we have slanted lines, we have curvy lines. Now that I've established those two really important components, let's go ahead and go into our writing routine. So we always begin by air writing. I model first with my finger the path that they're going to be taking, and I'm also dictating what the strokes are. After I model the first time, then I have student join me and we do the exact same thing 3 to 5 times, really depending on the letter. You'll get to know your students and which letters they have trouble with. So the more misunderstanding that you're seeing, the more repetition you want to give them. And I think starting off with air writing is so important for their development because you're giving them gross motor input and you're allowing them to build their muscle memory. So let me model an example. I picked a letter E, and another thing I want to emphasize is that I don't teach both uppercase and lowercase on the same day. I usually spend a day or two on teaching how to write the uppercase letter, and then a day or 2 or 3 days teaching how to write the lowercase letter. And so again, I display my slides on Google Slides. So what I do is that I open up a text box so that I cover up the letter that we are not practicing, so they're not getting confused or distracted by the letter that we are not practicing. So if we are practicing our letter E, for example, here is the language that I use. I always emphasize the starting point. So for our uppercase E, for example, we see that we start at the top. And as I'm dictating, I am following the crayon. We also name the letter each time that we're about to start writing it. Finger at the top, name letter E. Slide down, line at the top, line in the middle, line at the bottom. We know that the middle line is shorter than the top and the bottom line, but I don't make a big deal out of that. Now for our lowercase e, name the letter E, slide to the left, stop, curve up and around. And again, we do that for each letter 3 to 5 times depending on what the letter is and how easy or difficult it is for the students. So after we finish practicing our air writing, then the students move to the carpet where I have whiteboards, markers, and erasers. They get their supplies. They know that they sit crisscross, whiteboard on their lap, marker cap on top. So as they're all settling down, I'm looking for students to be ready. And one thing I want to point out about my whiteboards is that they're unlined, they're blank, and that is intentional, that is purposeful, because research recommends with emergent writers to begin with unlined or really widely spaced lines. It's an emerging skill for them, so this is an exploratory phase for them. At this stage, they're learning how to write the letters, how to form the letters. We're not worried about how they fit into lines. Writing in line paper actually requires a really high level of spatial awareness, precision, and muscle strength, which if you have a child that is just beginning to write and they haven't had a lot of opportunities to develop fine motor skills, then writing on lines is going to be very, very frustrating for them. So I am more worried about my students following the correct letter formation. I don't care how big they write, how small they write. Once the students have their whiteboards ready, we go ahead and write together. So kind of exactly what we did with the air writing, but now we are using a marker. So we name the letter and then we dictate the starting point and each letter stroke. We do that 3 times. And then I let them practice on their own. And I typically tell them to write the letter about 5 times because by that time it's time for us to transition to our next block. And as they're writing, I'm walking around and I'm looking to see what students are having difficulty. And so that's when I will do hand over hand. And so again, that's why the consistent and repetitive language is so helpful to them, because I'll be able to hear students, kind of whisper to themselves as they're writing. And some kids do need that extra support. So again, the hand over hand. And I dictate again. All right, we're going to try our uppercase E. Let's start at the top. Slide down, line at the top, line in the middle, line at the bottom. Or if they're having difficulty with lowercase e, which they typically do, the tricky part when they're writing a lowercase e is the left to right. So sliding to the left to right. So some students will do it the opposite way, and so it'll be a backwards E. That's like a very common mistake that they make, and I'll do that with them 3 times, and then the 4th time I'm just dictating and they're doing it. And so if I see that they can do it by themselves 1 to 2 times, I'm like, all right, great, keep going, and then they do it independently until their time is up. And so that's really our routine. I've seen really great improvement in my students' handwriting because of implementing these procedures. And this is what I focus on a lot in the first chunk of the school year. But I do always spend about the first 6 weeks. We don't do any type of writing. We just do a lot of pre-writing activities that is going to help them get ready to start this handwriting procedure. So some pre-writing activities that we practice. The easiest is always Play-Doh, but practicing how to manipulate the Play-Doh, how to make Play-Doh balls, how to squeeze, how to roll, how to pinch. We also have tweezer and tong activities, beading and lacing letters, sticker placement, cutting with scissors, pegboards, tracing and copying different types of lines like vertical lines, horizontal lines, circles, shapes. All of these activities allow for their hand muscles to strengthen, and it also gives them letter readiness exposure. Letter matching is also something else that they do, and I do introduce them to their name, and I emphasize a lot working from left to right. And that's it for this video. I really hope that this was helpful to you. And if it was, please make sure that you like this video and share it with other teacher friends. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you're excited to try about this routine, or if you have any questions. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.